So moving on from the toilet, this is where the electric mains cable connects. Standard all motorhomes, but if you press that button, that releases the cable. Sorry, you lift the cable up. The way that this connects is that has to be lifted up and goes into that slot there. So the lid's lifted up and slides into that slot. That cupboard is just access to the boiler. You shouldn't really need to worry about that. That's only if you need access to work on the boiler. That's a vent for the boiler. That needs to be kept clear of any debris. Sometimes if you park really close to a wall or another vehicle, that can actually sense that carbon monoxide is feeding back into this vent, and it will actually stop the boiler from working, so that will switch the boiler off. That's just a 12-volt socket that is next to the filler for the fresh water. So the 12-volt socket, you shouldn't really need it, but if you've got a container of water on the floor, it allows you to drop a pump into that water and then pump it back into the container, so the water tank that's already on the motorhome. Next one is the batteries. Now they've actually both been replaced on the pre-delivery inspection. Both were tested and found to be faulty, so both of those have been replaced. And we'll move on to the inside. Okay, so welcome to the inside. We'll start from the front and work towards the back. This is an A-class, so it's got the A-class bed in the down position now. All will become clear when I raise that back up. So that's done electrically via this control panel you can see is attached there. So it moves slowly. You wouldn't want it moving too fast in case there's anything trapped, but that's on its way back up. Just move the curtains out of the way. Okay, so that stops automatically when it's in the up position. So you can see it's revealed the cab. And the seats are in the down position now, so they need to be like that to allow the bed to come down. I'll show you how to put those back up. So that's the bed back up now, and that just clips back onto there. So these seats simply are let back up by that. You just turn that there. I'm just going to have to support it with my arm. So you need two hands to do that. That's the seat back up, and then they swivel round, and the tab for doing that is just there. So you lift that up and then turn them around. Again, a two-handed job, but I'll put both seats back up and turn them around, and then you can see them in the lounge position. So there we are, back in the lounge position. I'll just show you on this forward facing seat, that's where the seat belts are, so that's for the passengers. I'm just removing the cushions to show you where the water tank is. So it's underneath this seat here, and to drain that down you need to just open up this, and it's just this is the fresh water tank. I need probably two hands for this, just bear with it. Okay, so that's the lid off. You're just turning that anti-clockwise. So to drain the fresh water down, if you can see that tab, which is in the bottom of this tank, I'm going to drain it down actually, but you'll be able to see better when I've pulled it out. So you need to lift that up. It's in the horizontal position now. You need to lift it up and pull it out, and it's just a bung which is stuck in a hole in the bottom of the tank, so it's like a plug. So you can see there now, I've taken that plug out, so it works like that. So when you put it in like that and then push it down, and it expands to bridge the gap in the hole. Make sure the lid's put on tightly, because if you fill in the tank up and overfill it, if that's not on tightly, then water could spill out of the top of the tank. Okay, so in this area of the dinette is the controls for the boiler. And I'll run through these with you now. I don't know if I can get that in focus. Right, so the two upper positions are in effect summer settings, so they are just water. So the first one is 40 degrees water, second one is 60 degrees water. So I would, if you want to have a lot of hot water, keep that in the 60 degree position, so you've got hot water in the boiler, and then just mix it with the cold through your tap. That position's off. That is heat only. The next one down is heating and hot water at 60. That middle section controls your temperature. So that's the temperature of the vehicle rather than the water. The water's controlled by these settings. Okay, so while we're still at the front of the vehicle, I'll just quickly run through the control panel with you. So if you press that button there, it just takes you back to the main control panel. So I've set the time for you. Here we've got an indication to say that the vehicle is being charged because we're plugged into mains. Okay, so this button here is about your battery condition. Okay, so the rear battery is being charged, and it's currently being charged at 58%. Sorry, let me just start from the beginning. So 58%. That's putting in a charge of 2.9 amps rather than drawing a charge, so the positive symbol there denotes that. So it's got 13.6 volts in it. Obviously that's high because there's a charge coming in, but the lights are also on, so that would normally read 14 if there was no draw on the battery. If you keep scrolling through that button, it'll tell you about the condition. So there's two positions. So you've got your leisure battery and your engine battery. So it'll give you an indication of the condition of both of those. So the next one down is water situation. So 40% fresh water. As you could see, there was water in there, and I've put the bung back in, so that's reading correctly. And that's your wastewater, so the 25% wastewater. That switches off the 12 volt system completely. This is the menu button here is so that you can change your time and date, etc. So if you're travelling abroad, obviously your times are going to be different. We shouldn't really need to do much with those. That's up and down, so that it'll scroll you through your time and date settings, but I've set all those for you. Front of the vehicle is this hatch. In there is the fuse box. Okay, so in the instructions, there's a sheet in there telling you which fuse does what, and I've seen that, so that's present, and that's the water pump and pressure switch. So on the subject of the water pump and pressure switch, this uses a pressure system. So as you open up the tap, the pressure drops, the pump will run, and then it'll run for a time after to build the pressure back up. Now during the night, if that's you might find that the pump runs because the temperature affects the pressure, but it's nothing to worry about. It'll just run for a couple of seconds and then switch off. When you're filling the tank from outside, you need to purge the system of air, so you need to fill the water tank, and then switch your tap on until you get a pure flow of water that looks like that. If it's spluttering, let it run, and then you know you've got there's no air left in the system. The kitchen area, the drawers are protected by an anti-opening mechanism here, so that's closed, the drawers won't open. That needs to be all the way over there, and then that controls all the drawers on this side so that they can be opened, and the same applies with this control here. Bathroom, standard toilet, so to open up the valve is this control here, so that's opening up the valve, and you may be able to hear the fan running, and then when you close it, it stops. And that's to flush the toilet. That's to indicate that the toilet is full. Fridge, so it's got an automatic setting, or you can manually set which power supply you want. So in the gas position, now you may be able to hear that clicking. I don't think the gas is switched on, so that will go to fail. So it's trying to draw the gas through, but the gas isn't switched on. I'll come back to that and just show you that operational. That is mains, so it's highlighted. That will run perfectly efficiently on mains and get cold. That is if you are running on the alternator, so when the engine's running and you're in transit, that will cool the fridge. It won't get it cold, but it'll keep it cool, so you need to get it cold first. Automatically tries to select the most relevant power source, so it will look for electric first, then gas, then the 12 volt. So you can see there it's working, it's selected mains electric because that's the only power source available to it.